Hi, I am so excited to be launching my book today. This is a labour of love. I've been writing this book for over 3 years, and how it started was that I went on to a fellowship in the USA at Elon University. It was a 3-year fellowship, and we would meet for a week once a year with our colleagues to do research in work integrated learning. And as we know, Australia is a very long way to go to America, and I would have very bad jet lag. So when everyone was sleeping, I would be thinking, what am I doing with my eyes wide open? This jet lag's terrible. So I used that time to actually think about my life in terms of my career and being a teacher in higher education, and just my learning curve on my journey. And one of the biggest learning curves for me was when I was introduced to short-term study abroad. What that means is where a teacher in higher education will take a group of students overseas for a learning experience, which is normally connected to employability development skills or working on projects in an international context. And what was so special about this type of learning and teaching was that I could actually see with my very own eyes in the moment students' lives changing. And my life changed because of it. I got to know my students really well. We lived together, we worked together, we learned together. However, when I was doing this type of learning and teaching, the support options were quite minimal. Teachers were normally the innovators of this field. There's not a lot of us around. And I remember talking to a colleague who'd done it for a hell of a long time than I had, and all the stories he was telling me, and they were quite nerve-wracking in terms of some of the risks that would come up. One of the things that I noticed as part of this learning and teaching unique delivery model is that risk assessment and risk management was something that was kind of added ad hocly or at the end. It wasn't really part of the curriculum. Now we're a lot better. Risk is more at the forefront of universities now. But when I was doing it over a 10-year period, it wasn't really known. The new Colombo plan in Australia, which supports students to go overseas, which universities were tapping into. So it was all quite new. And I came across some really hairy situations, both preparing a study tour in particular, or a placement program for students going overseas. Sometimes I would go with them, sometimes I wouldn't. It would be all around resourcing. Was there enough resources for me to go on a continuous basis overseas? That can be quite expensive for a university. And so, students had a lot of input in my design thinking. And so risk came up a lot. So I thought, what a great idea to write this book about risk assessment and risk management in short-term study abroad, because it was something that I'm really passionate about. And I remember thinking, if I had this book when I was being introduced to this platform model, etc., what would it look like? And I feel that I've met that goal. That goal was always in the back of my head. If I was back in time, had a portal, went back in time and started this whole learning process again, what book, what at the elbow resources and toolkits and knowledge and ideas would I really need and want? And so I wrote this book. And I've been working with Peter Lang, who is the publisher, fantastic publisher, really supported me all the way. I tell you, writing a book, I'd rather poke my eyes out with a teaspoon. It is so hard, and I knew it was going to be, but I never gave up, and I've got there in the end. So if I can do something like this, anyone can. Now, what's so special about this book, and obviously I will show you how to buy it and put it in the link below. But what's so special about this book is that, yes, I talk about my own life experiences in terms of how I prepped, designed, delivered and evaluated short-term study abroad programs for universities. And I did that over a 10-year period. I went to so many countries. I started off in Philippines, went to Samoa, I went to North America. I also went to the Philippines, Indonesia and Malaysia. So yeah, pretty harrowing if you've never done anything like this before. And so, yeah, this book is really for those educators who are new to this arena, this very unique learning and teaching mode and model. And for those who are established, this book is great too, because it gets you to expand upon your own risk management leadership mindset. Yes, the leadership mindset, which is great. So yeah, I take the reader through the various experiences I had. So I'm using real case scenarios of my experience and all the harrowing things that I went through, all the learning curves I went through, all the things that went wrong, but also how I learned through failure, which is a key component of my own philosophy of practice as a learning and teaching expert. And at the end of the book, so there's examples, case studies, and I take you through my journey of how sometimes I failed and I didn't fix things, and then sometimes I learned a lot and then fixed things and never did them again the same way. At the end of each chapter, I highlight 3 things you can do to improve your leadership risk mindset. I have a glossary of terms to, help us in the global environment. Sometimes we talk about things in different ways, and certain terms have different meanings to different people. Also, always have a reference list. And so, I think it's a great book. I hope you will as well. Lots of things going on in this book. I've even got a chapter at the end that talks about different modes of delivery, including online. So you'll get a whole heap of figures and tables and examples and toolkits and paradigms. And I've also linked that to theory. So yeah, I'm very proud of this. I don't know if I'll ever write another book again. People are already saying, when's your next one? Not too sure about that. It takes a long time, a lot of energy and a lot of effort, but extremely proud. Extremely proud. So if you're a teacher that is about to start a study tour, a field trip, or a placement program, internship program that happens in an international space, this book is for you. And if you're an established short-term study abroad leader, this book is for you, because you will be able to, take away some highlights around your own experiences and reflect on that, and then share that with others. We can't learn deeply about our experience until we share our lived experiences with others, I find anyway. So yeah, let me know what you think, and happy to help you if you'd like to purchase this book. If you're finding that difficult at all, let me know, and really excited to be launching this. Thank you.